A defensive tackle is typically the strongest player on defense, but it isn't time in the weight room or spin at practice that makes Vincent Taylor the strongest on the field. It's the storm that he survived.
Growing up in New Orleans, it was great. Me and my brother kind of had it all, whatever we wanted, own bedroom. He had his stuff, I had my things.
Hurricane Katrina hit when you were 10.
10 years old, yes.
What was that like?
At the time when you're young, your parents just try to keep you calm, make it seem like everything is normal. But when you see your mom crying, you kind of know like this is not normal. Me and my brother and my dad and my uncle kind of went walking on Bourbon Street. And we kind of just seen water just coming, seeing dead bodies. And I remember just seeing a pair of shoes on the ground, me not having none. My dad just told me, grab those shoes. When I reached to grab it, I remember me being 10 at the time, I remember an officer just pointing an AK-47 in my face, saying, what are you doing? And my dad jumped in front of the gun like, officer, don't shoot, this is my son. It was a nightmare. 10 years old at the time, you got a gun in your face. You haven't even experienced life yet, you're still young, so it was hard.
Do you remember the first dead body that you saw? Were there so many? What was that? What did it look like? You know?
It was so many. The first one I actually seen was a lady just laying face down in the water with her body just like deteriorating from the water. Just seeing that was like, that's kind of crazy. It's like I was in a scary movie or anything. Everything was kind of messed up because of the water level and the way the water rise in our house. And, at this time, we kind of just got new furniture, so seeing my mama cry, that kind of hurted me. As my dad always talk about is materialistic things, you can always get that back, that don't matter. But being young at the time, you kind of didn't know what those things mean. You just knew that was just some of the things you always had, so losing it, you felt like you lost the world. It was either stay here and we die or we make a move and leave, and my dad, he stepped up to the plate and hit a home run.
He put you guys in the car, you started driving.
Right.
What happens next?
We wound up stopping at a gas station, and I remember my dad just asking the cashier, what's the next nearest biggest city you'll come to, and he said San Antonio. And that's kind of how we ended up where we was.
The Taylors put down roots in San Antonio, but the struggle wasn't over for Vincent. After being forced to sit out of school for a year because he no longer had his birth certificate, middle school was full of dark days. The rainbow finally appeared in high school in the form of Texas football.
I was able to go to school with my brother for 2 years, so I would see him throughout the day. I was able to play on varsity with my brother before he graduated, so I think that kind of made our parents proud. Seeing that and seeing how big football was in Texas, it kind of rejoiced me a little bit. My first varsity game, I got to play on ESPN.
You went out and made a name for yourself that game.
Without a doubt, most definitely, just knowing that I was just a sophomore at the time. And I just remember before the game, my dad told me if I want to make a name for myself, this is the game. So I just took advantage of that. Chris Catlin, he went to my high school. Coach Spencer was recruiting him, and I remember at practice one day, Coach Spencer seen my dad just sitting in the stands, and I just remember Coach Spencer telling my dad, I'll be back to get your son. And Coach Spencer, he stood with his word, and he just called me up one day and said, hey, we offering you a scholarship. And on that same day he told me, I decided to commit here because I felt like Oklahoma State was the place for me.
A decade after Hurricane Katrina hit, Vincent Taylor is starting for Oklahoma State. And every day he appreciates that beauty out of the storm.
I just thank God every day that I'm alive, because without him, I probably wouldn't be here today. I thank New Orleans every day, because if Katrina wouldn't hit, I wouldn't know where I'd be at. And it just motivates me to just go out there and make plays. And I kind of look at it like every time one of my teammates make a play, I got to make a play. Sometimes you got to go through things to get where you want to be, and that's kind of one of the things I hear my coach say every day here out at practice. Sometimes you got to give up things to get where you want to be. So giving up all of my stuff that I left in New Orleans to start a new life and ended up here, that was kind of a thing that God put me through to get where I want to be.